Alright, what is going on, guys? So today I'm bringing you another episode of I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, and today we're going to be replacing the alternator on the Cobra. As you guys saw in the last video, we blew up the clutch in Ashley's car. We were going to do the clutch in this car, and then the battery was dead, which caused the alternator to go out. And as you know, the alternators on these Cobras are not so good. So unfortunately I don't have an upgraded one. I don't have the option of doing an upgraded one right now with the way I want to do. There's also wiring upgrades that are available. I picked up another Ford OEM alternator. This one is actually a warranty replacement for this one, and it's the original Ford part I got from the Ford dealer. Hopefully this one's stronger than the previous one, although judging by what I see on the forums all the time, it's very possible this one could fail again, and what I really need to do eventually is upgrade the wiring and upgrade the alternator. With that said, let's just jump into it. I already have my battery out, and I'll show you guys the process of replacing the alternator in this thing. So, as you guys know, this car is supercharged, obviously. Belt for superchargers there, and the same belt, it also runs the alternator, which is conveniently right there, which is a little difficult to get to, but not overly difficult. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this battery tray. That way we can get to the upper bolts, and then I'm going to jack the car up and get to the lower bolts underneath the car. Alright, so we have two 8mm, I believe, here holding on the battery tray. As you guys know, I'm super lazy and love my impact gun, so I'm going to use that to take these two out. Alright, and I got those two out, so now I can lift the battery tray up and out of here. Let's make sure we don't lose these bolts. And now, we actually have some nice access to the alternator. So we have a bolt here, a bolt, let's see, I think that one, and then there's one down below, and then obviously I have to take the belt off too. So let's get cracking. Alright, so I just popped the belt off with a 1/2" ratchet here. Actually gonna take this out, or maybe I'll just leave it there. I don't want it falling on my head. I just use a zip tie to hold the belt there, that way I can keep everything else kind of in line. Obviously it's not the biggest deal if it falls off, but that makes it easy. And I can come over here and just plop the belt off when we drop it right down and out. So now I'm going to take off this bolt, which also looks like, well, maybe it's not that bracket. So there's this bolt. I'm just going to look on the new alternator and see how many bolts bolt this thing on. I can also look online as well, but like I said, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, so that's why you guys are watching me. Looks like there's only 2 bolts, but who knows? I'll figure it out. Alright, so I just removed the long bolt here with a 15mm socket. Now it looks like I'm just going to need to jack the car up, unplug the alternator. I think there's 2 connections on it and another bolt down below. Then I'm going to drop it down through the bottom. Remember kids, safety first. Let's put this under there. Alright, I think we're ready for battle. Jack is there, jack stands over there. Now it's time to lay down underneath here. Hello there, alternator. Alright, so I'm going to turn off the camera while I figure out what the hell I'm doing. Alright guys, so we unbolted the connection there. I still have the plug connected there. I then took out the bolt that is right here. So now obviously the alternator is loose. I'm just going to use my new gained freedom in the alternator to easily get this plug now, because it was not so easy when it was in its original place, and it's still not easy. So I'm going to put the camera down and get that plug now, and then basically I'm just going to wiggle it out of this not so big area. Alright guys, after finagling and everything, trying to get this out, I found, which I was following some sort of tutorial online, but I didn't really pick this up. I unbolted the alternator bracket there and up top, and as soon as I did that, the alternator's now free. I'm going to put down the camera and slide it through out of the way of these power steering lines. Well, that wasn't a lot of fun, but now that I've done it this time, I know how to do it, that it wouldn't be hard for next time. Oh boy. Let's see, just make sure the pulley's the right size as this one. I mean, this alternator still looks like new. It's just dead. Here's our new one. This one's got to go back to Ford. This is a warranty. I'm gonna put this in the car. I'm a little annoyed with how long that took, but now that I know how to take the alternator off, it's helpful. So there's a bolt for the bracket right here. This is the alternator bracket. Once you do unbolt that, literally the alternator falls right out of the car. So don't be like me and finagle. I mean, technically you might be able to finagle it out of there, but this was so much easier. Alright guys, we are getting close. I bolted the alternator bracket back up, the bolt. I bolted the alternator up, the plug, the one connection, the 10mm bolt, and the plug. So now I'm going to tighten the alternator bracket on the top, tighten this one up, put the battery tray back, and go get my battery. Alright, so everything's bolted up. I'm gonna loosen the tensioner, or sorry, depress the tensioner, put the belt on. Looks like the belt pretty much stayed in place. I'm gonna obviously double check to make sure it's on all the ribs correctly before starting it up. But yeah, let's put the belt on. Alright, looks like we got the belt on. It's nice and straight. Gotta love those shiny idlers from Metco. We got the alternator down there. Nice tension on the belt. I do think I'll need to replace the belt sooner than later, just so that, as you guys know, supercharger, 19 pounds of boost, puts quite a strain on the car, especially with the way I drive the car. So it's a good idea to replace that before it snaps, because then it gets stuck somewhere. Or I actually do have a spare belt that isn't in the best shape, but I do keep that in the trunk just in case something were to happen like that. I'm gonna put the battery tray in, and then I gotta go to the store and get a battery, or the battery for this is being charged up. Alright, just like that, battery tray is now in the car. I just need to go to the store now and get the battery. Alright, now we're gonna jack the car up, get it off the jack stand, and lower her down. Alright, let's go run to the store and pick up my battery. We're gonna take the good old brown car. I don't know if you guys are ready for all this horsepower. There we go. That just took a little longer to crank because obviously I took the battery out to start that car. But this is the reliable of the bunch. That one has a broken clutch, that one has a broken clutch, and had a broken alternator, but now it's fixed. Alright, well, we just made it over to the Advanced Auto Parts where they're charging up the battery. Alright, well, we just made it back. We're gonna grab the battery out of the car and get it inside. Alright, battery is in the car. I'm gonna put the factory tie down in and put the positive and negative on. Alright, battery's connected. Let's give her a start. And we got power, so that's good. I'm gonna key on, let the wideband calibrate, and turn this on so that we can see battery voltage, because 0304 Cobras don't have a battery voltage gauge there, and that one's never accurate anyways. Basically reads voltage or not. Doesn't really read 14 volts, for example. Alright, wideband's calibrated, and SET reads 12.31 volts off the battery. So after troubleshooting for quite a while, trying to figure out why this thing is not working, looks like there's some sort of wiring fuse issue, something like that. I haven't been able to find it. So Nick's gonna come over and help me try to figure out what's going on. I've checked a fuse. I believe this is a one fuse and this is another fuse. For the alternator, those both look good. Nick's gonna come over here with an electrical tester to see where the issue is. Alright, Nick just came here to maybe save the day, trying to figure out if this alternator's bad or the wiring's bad. He has a fancy tester tool. He just used that to test each fuse to make sure those are good. And now he's under the car, enjoying all the space that's down there. Alright, we're gonna try starting it. Ready? Alright, so it looks like we found out the problem. When we started the car, I went underneath and wiggled the wire, and when I wiggled it over this way, I could hear some sort of noise, and Nick saw over here with his tool that voltage would see 13.9 volts to 14.0, which is exactly what this car should be when the alternator is working. So right now we're trying to repair the plug, or rather Nick is trying to repair the plug. Did you see that comment the other day?
Oh, what?
Someone said, did you rename Nick's name with we?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. They saying these hands are too clean to be working on this car.
This is 12.4 started.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to start it here. It's loading up. Nick says he's reading 12.4 volts. We're going to see what the SET reads. 12.25. Mm-hmm. Ready? I don't think it's working. Nope. Okay. Nothing. That's it, right there. 13.8. Off. All right, we're gonna take this here Nissan. Ugh. You want to talk about slow, dude? This thing is slow.
Oh, it's a base model, isn't it?
Base model, it's got eco mode. It's my mom's rental car.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nick's gonna die. So we're gonna go to AutoZone to pick up a plug. Do you grab the alternator?
No.
Oh, we're gonna bring the alternator just so they don't give us some random garbage. So, we got a new connector. Luckily, AutoZone had a new connector that fits on the alternator. We brought the alternator with us. We had them test the alternator, and the alternator was actually tested good. So what that means is I didn't break the plug when I went to go fix it, and that means that the plug just basically kind of broke.
Inside here, the wire inside this little raised casing split slightly, and we pulled it out. I pulled the piece apart right here. The wire, as you can see, goes down about yay far, and this portion of it was split in half. I didn't pull that apart, that's how it came out, but the only thing holding it there was the actual wire casing itself. So I tried to repair this by pulling it apart, but it's pressed together very hard, and we just ended up getting a new pigtail, so much easier.
Time to start it, and this time, after our new plug, we should see full voltage. I'm gonna turn key on. I'm gonna put the SET on so I can read battery voltage here as well. And Nick's gonna read it out there. And once I start this, you guys probably won't hear anything I say. So, all right, I got 12.18. All right. We got 13.5 right there. 13.4? 9. 9? This one shows 13.5. Alright guys, so I think that about concludes our video here of replacing the alternator in an 03 Cobra and diagnosing the car not working after replacing the alternator. I hope that video was helpful. I want to give a big shout out to everyone on the Cobra forum who helped me. I posted up on there and that was a big help. Justin Wheeler also gave me the idea along with Nick to kind of wiggle the wire to get it, basically see if that was the problem with it. So I want to give a big shout out to everyone over there who kind of helped me out with that. And make sure you slap that like button down below. We'll finally be able to get the clutch in this car, or at least the transmission out, because I'll be able to drive this over to Nick's. And slap that like button, leave a comment down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time.